us today. Peter Egan, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dominic. That's very kind of you. I'd like you to be my agent. First, let me just say I totally agree with you. I think you're absolutely right. I think there should be a greater inclusiveness. And I've sort of become the man who can't say no, because I'm attached to about 20 different charities now, and it's all based in my passion for animal welfare. I think that animal welfare is the issue of this century, and I think it's getting bigger and bigger. And when this is a great meeting today, and it's been fascinating to hear the debate. I tweet an awful lot, and all of you who may be familiar with Twitter can see there is a huge animal welfare movement in the whole of Twitter. It's fascinating and fabulous how quickly things get picked up, how many e-petitions just catch fire. And now, of course, they don't necessarily change the law, but they will at some point, and I don't think one should lose confidence with that. I think the young lady over there, who I admire enormously, I don't think I could tell what a snowdrop is, but I was brought up in London. But I think you're absolutely right. I think it's essential. There's still a Victorian attitude to teaching about animals, the fact that we, have zoos and things like that. I mean, you have rabbit hutches, and I think there needs to be a totally clean and open approach to animal welfare being taught in schools. It's absolutely vital.
And natural history.
And I think also, just to touch on what you were saying, the PC, peaceful. Can't read it. I think it's very sad. I also do a lot of work with, I have a dog charity, rescue in London called All Dogs Matter. I've been involved with them for about 7 years. I'm the chairman and the trustee. And so I spend a lot of time going around the pounds, and what is very sad is that the council dog welfare budgets are attached to environmental services, which means waste. It's street cleaning, and it's like the problems with vermin. I mean, how are we going to get people to focus on the fact that a fox is a beautiful creature when it's spoken of as vermin? And those words are so important. And I think we should erase those words from our vocabulary, because what they are, animals. I think there's to me, listening to the debate this afternoon, it was fascinating. And I saw the Rosie Woodruff presentation. In fact, I go to the House of Commons a lot now, and I go to APGOR a lot. In fact, so much so that the security say to me now, "Are you going to give up your day job, sir?" But I find it fascinating, and I've listened to an awful lot of debates, and I've always felt, because I came into this in terms of being a presence only about 5 or 6 years ago, so I feel I'm behind an awful lot of people like you who are very, very experienced. And I value enormously the passion that you bring to events like this. So the debate, incidentally, I'm going to cast you as Q in 007. The timing was wonderful, relentless. Also, I think that Professor Bourne and Roger Blowie should do a comedy act. They could be the new Little and Large. But I thought that they were both compelling, and particularly Professor Bourne, who I agree with fundamentally. You see, what is so, I mean, to me, an amateur, is, so we listen to this debate, and then we hear at the end that it's not a threat to people. It doesn't matter, like salmonella. You can cook it out. It doesn't matter. So what's the problem? Money is the problem. And that's the issue, isn't it? It's money. And I just think it's unbelievable, the millions that have been spent, the passion that's been spent in terms of fox hunting. For me, there's one clear way to try and restrict it as much as possible, and that is don't vote Conservative. Just don't. As Angela Smith said in Birmingham at the wonderful meeting there, she said, if we have a new Labour government, there will not be an extension to the cull. So, you can't be clearer than that. Other things, for me, in relation to all of this, there's one simple answer. It's simplistic. Don't eat flesh. Solves all the problems. You have no problems at all with bovine tuberculosis. You have no problems at all. I mean, it's shocking that 34 billion creatures are killed yearly for 6 billion people to eat them. That it produces, I'm a patron of compassion and world farming, as well as a vice president for the wonderful League Against Cruel Sports, and I was reading a paper before Birmingham that we use about, I don't know, 17,000 litres of water a year for domestic purposes. It takes the same amount of water to produce a kilo of beef. It's insane. It's not, you know, it doesn't make sense. So I know people will say, on Twitter people say, well, you've got really low now, haven't you? If I say something about the Grand National and how someone says, what do you think about horse racing? I said, I have nothing against any kind of activity that has mutual consent. I don't know, if Rory Walsh wants to run around the course on another jockey's back, whipping the shit out of him, he can do it as far as I'm concerned. I've got nothing against that. And so you've sunk to a new low now. But you know, it is. I think it's very, very simple. And I've got 6 dogs. I have 6 rescue dogs, and my last rescue dog, I've said this before, when he discovered that I was had given up meat and I was giving up leather, it's been a wonderful experience for me in the last 5 years to be totally in contact with the holistic approach to animal welfare, which is respect them all, don't eat them, don't kill them, don't wear them. So my dog must have heard this, my dog Titus, who I rescued from Sarajevo, because he managed to get into my wardrobe and he ate all of my shoes. And I thank him for it daily, because I have these shoes, which are the most comfortable shoes I have. I've got them in 3 colours, black, red, which is rather vibrant, and also in a kind of stone colour. And they are the most comfortable shoes I've ever worn. They're absolutely fantastic. They're eco-vegan. You can Google them. They're not expensive, and I would recommend them to anyone. I've got rid of all my leather, all that kind of stuff, and I can't tell you how happy I feel. I feel, my soul feels better. I believe in having a cruel-free diet and a cruel-free life. You'll all feel better. I'm sure you all do it anyway, and I don't want to preach to the converted. So I'm going to shut up in a second, so I know we're short of time. One thing that really encapsulates how I feel, I'm passionate about moon bears. I have a bear in China called Peter, the most beautiful bear in the world. And Jill Robinson, who is the founder of Animals Asia, is the most inspirational person any of us would ever meet. What she's done in China is phenomenal. And if we all feel under pressure here, think about being the only person in China 25 years ago, with like a rubber hammer knocking against a wall of granite. That's Jill Robinson fighting for the lives of moon bears. And if any of you are not familiar with Animals Asia and the bear bile industry or the dog meat industry, have a look up Animals Asia and look up Soy Dog Phuket, or just Google APPA. Virginia McKenna wrote this. It's called The Sanctuary. And this really kind of sums up how I feel about, of course, the bears, but also how I feel about animals. The moon that I love the most is not the gleaming ball of iridescent light sailing the night sky. The moon I love the most rides on the night-dark chests of wild black bears, sometimes pure white, or ivory, or cream. Its crescent marks these beasts sublimely. Tragically, they are the chosen ones, victims of man's callous need for cures. Bile in a bottle, elixir to end his pain. But for the trapped moon bears, the pain is endless. Taps turn, tubes drip. The cage, an iron glove. Torment is infinite. Yet here around me, at the sanctuary, there is the sweetest sight. Bears play and sleep and shuffle as they will. They feel the air and smell the rain, and learn that humankind can be just that. How humble we should be to have their trust. How steadfast we must be to change men's hearts. So all the crescent moons, imprisoned still, can shine once more. That's a beautiful poem, I think. As I said, that basically sums up how I feel. It's great to be here today. Congratulations to you all, and keep on fighting. Bye-bye.